Now, let's talk about the real magic of music because we lost Jimmy Buffett this last week. And here's a guy that was as liberal as they come in terms of policies and everything, but he garnered a real conservative fan base over the years. Now, I'll talk from personal experience first. I saw Jimmy Buffett years and years ago, prior to the Parrot Head thing, and he was a singer-songwriter, and he wrote some absolutely beautiful songs and so on. And maybe I wasn't paying attention or whatever, but as I would attend Buffett concerts throughout the years, the texture of those shows, the feel of those shows changed quite a bit. They were less introspective and more party bud. And I still went to the shows. I love Jimmy Buffett and everything, but the essence of the original singer-songwriter that I loved was kind of gone at that point for me. However, you were very involved in some of the stuff that Jimmy did with these Parrot Head groups, which I honestly loathed, but you can tell me about why I shouldn't loathe these, because they did a lot of good things, right? And are still doing good things.
Well, they did. And, the thing, and I, like you, I went to my first Buffett concert in 1970 something at the Universal Amphitheater. And I went to my last Buffett concert in March in Palm Desert. And I don't know, a dozen in between, everywhere from Honolulu to Washington, D.C. And Jimmy sort of transcended politics. His fan base moved with him from the 1970s, and he was 76, and most of his fans were in their 60s and 70s as well. Right. And that was reflected in the crowds. There was still pot smoking going out on the lawn in the amphitheater, but there was also a little Chardonnay going on as well in the seats. But they aged with him, and his songs aged with the group, and they became a definition of a lifestyle that people aspired to. And Jimmy may have been a liberal, but he was definitely a capitalist.
Absolutely,
and he built a great business empire around his lifestyle brand that's still going strong, and people liked his music. And when you're a musician in politics, or when you're a politician in music, you can be a jerk, or you can be somebody that everybody says, I don't like his politics, but his music's good.
Right.
And Jimmy was that kind of guy. He was not a jerk about his politics. He was what he was. He didn't try and hide it, but he didn't try and push it in your face and make you resentful about it.
Right.
And that kept his fan base whole. And after I left elected office as mayor, I became the treasurer of the Orange County Parrot Head Club. It's an active group, people 60s and 70s. And it raises a lot of money for charity. Our particular groups here are Ronald McDonald House and Alzheimer's, but there's chapters. It was started by a fellow in Georgia, and it's grown all over the country. There's chapters all over America that do charitable support. There is a Parrot Head Fund to support parrot heads who were displaced by the recent hurricanes in Florida. They were very active in helping the folks displaced by Katrina and the other disasters through the years. And it reflects a charitable frame of mind. A party with a purpose is sort of the motto of the clubs. Every year they do a big gathering called Meeting of the Minds, usually in Key West. This year it's going to be on the Alabama coast, where the trop rock singers come to perform, and sometimes Jimmy used to come. And you see folks from all over the country who share the similar love for Jimmy's music. And I'm pretty sure it's going to go on for quite a few more years.
And it should be noted, Jimmy was very supportive of these groups once they got started. I don't think he really started them, right? They just sort of organically happened, if I understand right. And then he threw his support towards them, right?
That's it. That's exactly what happened. They said, if we're going to party, let's party with a purpose. And I think one of the guys had a disease he was grappling with, and people gathered to help him, and that sort of blossomed into a national organization.
Wow. Well, we're going to miss Jimmy without a doubt, and we're all raising a glass to him these days because he did bring people together. As you mentioned, there was plenty of pot smoking at his shows, but the conservative people turned a blind eye to that and let it go on. And there weren't fistfights in the audience.
No.
Yeah, so it was a great example of what music can be, and the healing process and the joyful process that music is all about.